Your Houston Morning News with Matt Patrick continues.
KTRH News Time is 6:16, and coming up, we'll be talking with Larry OConnor. He's the editor at Breitbart. Find out exactly how the Breitbart family is doing. Also very interesting, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but the latest James O'Keefe Project Veritas in Vermont. Now, James O'Keefe is the guy that pretty much took down Acorn. Do you remember this? And do you remember all of the grief that Andrew Breitbart took when he sent James O'Keefe out? Well, Project Veritas has gone to Vermont, and on the heels of the Justice Department kicking back our photo voter ID law, it's very, very interesting what he encounters in Vermont. Larry OConnor is on with us right now. Larry, welcome to Houston's Morning News. Good to have you with us this morning.
Hey, thank you. Good to be here.
Larry, before we get into James O'Keefe and Project Veritas and what took place in Vermont, how is the Breitbart family, if you don't mind me asking?
We are busy as hell, if I can say so. We are out of control with just story after story. It's been a really rough couple of weeks, obviously, for the company, because we were a family. When I started working with Andrew, I literally would go to his home every day and work in his basement of his home. That's how the business started. So we were all part of the family. We went through quite a process of dealing with the loss of our leader and our friend. And
how is his wife and children? Are they? I'm sure they're holding up okay. I'm sure they're strong, but it's got to be tough.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. It's horribly tough, but when I saw them, I saw them last at the funeral, and they were doing remarkably well.
And I know they've got great people like you that are around them. I've met Andrew on a few occasions. I had a chance to sit down and talk with him. Actually, I sat down, he talked, which was usually the way things went. I remember him fondly, and again, our condolences. Just an amazing guy, Larry,
well, thank you for that.
It is our pleasure. I want to talk to you. Obviously, we're here in Houston, Texas, and what's interesting, DOJ strikes down the Texas voter photo ID law on the exact day that James O'Keefe and Project Veritas come out with their latest investigation in Vermont. Breitbart bringing that to us. If you would hang on, I want to come back and talk a little bit about what he discovered in the state of Vermont when it comes to voter ID and registration. Talk to me about James O'Keefe goes to Vermont and begins registering to vote, or actually voting using the names of dead people. Is that right?
Yeah, well, and let's just be clear. Nobody voted illegally. Nobody broke a law, as far as we know, at least. What happened was that this is part of James O'Keefe's army of citizen journalists. His company is called Project Veritas, and these folks basically canvassed the country, going out and with their hidden cameras, and they, in the James O'Keefe fashion, just like they did with the Acorn videos, they try to expose what's really happening in our country, and this is an amazing story. Basically, what they did was they went in, they researched this out, and saw people who had recently passed away, went to their districts at their polling places, and said that they were, they said they were that person who had recently passed away. Person was still on the voter roll, and they were handed a ballot.
Now, in Vermont, Larry, they don't have any voter ID law at all. You don't have to have any ID to vote.
Right, and what these citizen journalists did is they said, would you like to see my ID? And the person in the polling place says, absolutely not. And they said, oh, please, I would really like to show you my ID. And then it was really funny because, again, the James O'Keefe's folks always inject a little bit of humor into these things. And the person was so adamant, almost going out of their way, refusing an ID.
And
in every case,
I like the one where he's Mahmoud, and he says Mahmoud, and he tries to get the woman to actually repeat it back.
Right, with a really thick accent.
Yeah.
Another one comes in with a French-Canadian accent, and even says, the guy says, up in Quebec, we don't have to show an ID to vote. Let me get you my passport. The person said, no, here you go. In every case, the person refused the ballot and said, "You know what? I would like to show you my ID, so let me get back." So nobody illegally obtained a ballot. Nobody, every single person walked out without actually taking a ballot.
And Larry, I encourage you, and I'm sure I don't need to encourage you. You guys are doing this already and do such a great job. Continue the fantastic work that you and Andrew began. I know you'll pick up the ball and continue to run downfield with it. We look forward to more from the Breitbart websites. And Larry, you're welcome here anytime, as you know. And again, our thoughts and prayers with everybody there.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And listen, let me tell your listeners, we've got a huge story breaking in about, it'll be at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock your time. Take a look at the site. This one involves Hollywood and the hypocrisy of Hollywood liberals.
Awesome. All right, Larry. Appreciate the heads up, my friend. Thank you very much. Larry OConnor, editor at Breitbart, joining us here this morning.